Dr. Shane Reti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure, Mr. Speaker, to speak in the general debate today. It's a wonderful opportunity to follow the segue of my colleague and lift our eyes to the horizon, Mr. Speaker. Lift the eyes of Northland and Whangarei to the horizon, because we know the truth. Because we live there, we smell the air, we breathe it, we know the truth, and we're lifting our eyes to that horizon. And that horizon, Mr. Speaker, is looking good. That horizon has had 7 consecutive quarters of economic growth, Mr. Speaker. 7 quarters consecutively of economic growth, spread across a number of industries. I'm going to tell you which industries they actually are. But first of all, up front, I'd like to acknowledge our international team, New Zealand's international leadership on nuclear disarmament, because myself and the member last week had the privilege of being in New York at the United Nations. Our team there is excellent. I'd like to acknowledge them. I'd like to acknowledge New Zealand's strong voice and international leadership on nuclear disarmament. But let's get back to Northland and Whangarei. Mr. Speaker, I could talk about a whole list of initiatives, but I have bias. I have bias because I'm with a government that's created those opportunities. So why don't we hear what other people say? Let's listen what others say. You know, Māori have a whakatauki, Mr. Speaker, and it says this. Kaore te kumare e korero, mō tōna manga. The kumara doesn't speak of its own sweetness. So let's let others talk about us. What are they saying? Well, let's go to the start of the year. Northern Advocate, 10th of January 2015. Boom! Boom, Mr. Speaker. Our busiest summer in 5 years. Northland is riding a 5-year summer holiday high with tills ringing at record levels, campgrounds full. 2 weeks later, Mr. Speaker, on the 15th of January, building industry booms, Mr. Speaker. Northland construction industry is booming, with building consents reaching a 7-year high in New Zealand. Let's go to a month ago, Mr. Speaker. Tourism, and what was the key word? Boom. Tourism, boom for Northland. Northland's hospitality sector is making hay big time this endless summer. So much that a number of high-profile events in coming weeks could force visitors to scramble for decent accommodation. Mr. Speaker, Whangarei and Northland is lifting. We are seeing the benefit of a stable government and thoughtful economic development. That thoughtful economic development continued on the weekend when the Prime Minister announced a $3 million cycle track coming through the far north. But you know, a few days before that, Whangarei District Council announced another cycling initiative. It goes like this. New cycle track will be bonus for safety, and I quote from the Northern Advocate, Saturday, May the 1st. A new multi-million-dollar cycle track next to railway lines will connect 5 Whangarei schools. What a great initiative.
Excuse me, the echoing has gone on for long enough. I think we'll get back to the member now. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Kamo cycle route has been on the cards for a while, but with some promised funding and preliminary approval from KiwiRail to build the track, plans for the route are now underway. Mr. Speaker, this will connect 5 high schools in Whangarei. What a great initiative. That combined with the $3 million for the cycle pathway through the far north. It keeps getting better. It's like an infomercial. Wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Port Whangarei, Mr. Speaker, have recently undertaken an order to install a 100-tonne mobile boat hauler. That is going to bring marine repairs to Whangarei, which will increase the labour force, which will bring revenue into Whangarei. And, you know, a year later, they're going to pick up a 450-tonne mobile boat lift. That's going to catch a lot of the international luxury yachts, and those yachts that are going elsewhere will come to Whangarei. If you go another 5 or 10 kilometres around the coast to Northport, the other deep port, they're also announcing good news. You see, part of our economic growth issues have been around containerisation. We haven't been able to fill containers in Northport. Here's what they announced 10 days ago. Northport is to purchase a 5 million mobile crane for delivery by the end of the year, giving it the ability for the first time to load dedicated container vessels. Mr. Speaker, what they're predicting is that 40,000 trucks that currently go past Northport will now be able to be loaded onto containers in Northport. And when you imagine that every logging truck that goes past is equivalent to 5,000 vehicle movements, when we look at safety on the road, this is a good news story. This is clear evidence that Whangarei and Northland is doing well. Mr. Speaker, Northland is lifting. Whangarei and Northland is a great place to live, and New Zealand is a safe place to live. Mr. Speaker, we are doing well, and this is all due to a good and stable government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.